Residents of Logwood in Hanover have expressed fear as the hurricane season, which starts this Wednesday, June 1, approaches. The people say the damaged bridge and insufficient drainage system in the area are not adequate to keep floodwaters at bay. Here's May with the details.
As the rainy season approaches, residents in Logwood, Hanover say they are in desperate need of assistance from the relevant authorities to repair a bridge and building of a proper drainage system in order to reduce the risk of flooding in their community. Hilary Ritchie, a resident, explained how the issue has affected the area and how it can be remedied.
During heavy rains, we have a lot of floodings. People farm, houses. We have terrible flooding here all the time, but it's lack of cleaning of the river, and the river is closing in. And this bridge that we have here, the culvert is too small to carry the water. So whenever it rains, instead of the water would even pull away faster, it took to the land. So then if we really have this correct and have the river clean beyond down where it is really backing up, where you have another bridge down there, we have down there is like backed up. So we have to have some backhoe cleaning the bottom, because correcting this bridge is not going to do what it's supposed to do. You have to have the entire river open up, because some parts are closing, like you have a little drain. And the drains that surround the rivers also, behind where persons live and farm, you have to clean those, because they are going to the rivers too, and then the water is just taken to the land. And then we have very bad flooding here.
Farmers from the community said that they have been greatly affected and suffer tremendous loss of crops and properties.
This bridge here, this little bridge here, is a bridge that serves us as farmers in this community. And all we're asking for, we're not asking for much. We're asking for the government to help us to practice this slogan, eat what you grow. And without that, we as farmers here in this community and residents of this community are suffering.
This river, when time it come on to the rain season, is a problem, is a disaster. Big problem. This water come high. The culvert we part them put in for so many years now can't hold the volume of water that coming down in the disaster time. And it flood out places, crop. Me lose enough crop through the water, through them bridge. So we want if it done. Because enough time when time water come and I come check out for my bridge in there, so we do spearfishing in together. Me have to come, because water catch all way out about a chain from the river. A chain apart. One next little bridge out there, so to the water can come under the bridge, can't take the culvert. It flow all over the whole place. The whole place is coming like a sea. It's a waterbed. My bridging in our house, so sometimes you have to go out on him house top. Everything in our house wet up. Everything in our house wet up. We have to consider the concern about one another overnight when time water come at this place.
I was born and grew in this parish of Hanover, right here in Fish River. And all my youth days growing up, I see where this bridge is really a damage. Even now I grew up as a big woman and I farm just right over there. And a couple months ago, the whole of my crop went. My cabbage, my sweet pepper, everything that I plant went because of the water. The water come and drown everything.
Meanwhile, Councillor for the Green Island Division, Marva Sewell, said he sympathized with the residents as this problem has become a major issue for the community.
No, this is really a major problem, because around 3 years ago, then Mr. Jackson, the CEO for Roads and Works in the Hanover Municipal Corporation, he get an estimate done for this bridge, because the problem is this: the volume of water that coming from in the hills of Moreland and the stream, the bridge this culvert cannot contain the volume of water that coming down. So if we don't move this to a bridge and take the culvert out, this problem will continue to happen. So I sympathize with the resident, because I know the situation. I remember after a heavy flood, and when I drive come down here and I look, it was impossible. The volume of water, because if you should even go in Dam Road, there were 2 bridges like this. But then Councillor Mr. Miller changed one of the bridge, so it really lessened the water up by dam. But the same problem is, although it lessened the water by dam, it's still back up the water here, so it really flood out dam same way.
We will bring you more on this story in subsequent newscast. Reporting from Mello TV News, I'm Colleen May.
A man was shot and injured while riding his motorcycle along the Old Hope Road in the vicinity of the PNP headquarters last night. Reports are that at about 6 p.m. the man was shot while riding his motorcycle by two men on a motorbike. The men later escaped. The man was rushed to the Kingston Public Hospital where he's undergoing treatment. The condition of the injured man is not known. There has been a flare-up of shootings recently involving motorbikes. Last week, JLP Councillor Lennox Hines was shot and killed along Marcus Garvey Drive by men traveling on a motorcycle. The police are seeking the public's assistance to find 55-year-old Paul Dixon, otherwise called Blackmouth, of Ashkanish District, Hanover, who has been missing since Friday, May 27. He's of dark complexion, slim build, and is about 5 feet 2 inches tall. Reports from the Sandy Bay police are that Dixon was last seen at home. His mode of dress at the time he went missing is unknown. Efforts to contact him have proven futile. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Paul Dixon is being asked to contact the Sandy Bay police at 876-956-2333, Police 119 emergency number, or the nearest police station. Now, in a Mello TV News update on the protest that took place in the front of the Cornwall Regional Hospital in St. James last Friday over what persons say is an attempt by the St. James Municipal Corporation to close down a popular food establishment in the Mount Salem community. However, Mayor of Montego Bay, Councillor Leroy Williams, has refuted the people's claims and told Mello TV News that the business is operating in breach of the Town and Country building order.
The position of the municipal corporation is that the operator of the business in front of the Cornwall Regional Hospital is in breach of the planning, town and country development order. So in effect, what they have done is to take over the road reservation. So the sidewalk is occupied by building, and in the roadway there are tables and chairs placed. So it endangers the lives of pedestrians who have to walk in the road instead of the sidewalk that was built for them to walk. And definitely there is no approval from the municipal corporation for them to operate at that location. As you know, anywhere you have food, then there is probably a tendency for rats and flies and that sort of, insects and so on to be around. So it could create a health hazard. Therefore, we are seeking an injunction for them to cease and desist the operation in front of the Cornwall Regional Hospital and subsequently to be removed.
Mayor Williams, during an exclusive interview with her news team, also provided an update on Beryl Walters, the 68-year-old woman who was washed away by floodwaters in April and whose body is yet to be found.
Unfortunately, the relatives were not able to bring the sort of closure that they would have liked, because even though the areas were searched thoroughly, we were not able to find the body of the lady who was washed away. So we have done several searches, but to no avail. So it's rather unfortunate that, this happened.
Mayor Williams also outlined the municipal's plans for the upcoming hurricane season.
Well, for the hurricane season, we would, of course, sensitize the citizens, and we are going to make sure that we are prepared for that in terms of drain cleaning exercise. So this is definitely something that will be done so as to mitigate any form of flooding that might occur. We'll be asking the residents to prune their trees and, so as they won't be of any hazard during the hurricane season.
The stretch of roadway that was in need of repairs along the Brandon Hill Main Road in Montego Bay, St. James has been completed following lobbying efforts by Member of Parliament for St. James Central constituency, Roy Clark. Our news team today visited the area and spoke with Mr. Clark, who expressed that he's overjoyed that his efforts have materialized and persons who use a section of the road can now travel much better.
Today we are on what we call the Brandon Hill Road, but it's really the Coke Avenue. And so we would have been lobbying for this road for quite some time, from as far back as my first term when I got elected. The funding was granted some 3 years ago to the tune of $20 million. Since then, you would understand that material have escalated somewhat, and so whilst we had gotten that $20 million grant, it would not have been effective to $20 million worth of work now. And so you would realize that we stopped short of reaching the stoplight at Overton Plaza, where Union Street connects into Brandon Hill. We definitely want to make sure that we continue to carry out the task that is mandated to us. The people would have elected us, and they have given us a mandate to make sure that we get things done that they can live in comfort.
He also appealed to motorists to exercise caution when traversing this section of the road and urged them to reduce their speed.
Since the work was done over the weekend, Sunday afternoon to be exact, I have gotten quite a number of calls from residents within the area and motorists themselves who are passing by to say to them, please appeal to the users of the road that it is not a racetrack. No, and we have to understand that there are quite a number of schools along this roadway, and we ask them to traverse the road, use the road as best as possible, and with caution, because we have children on the road and other road users, pedestrians just the same. On a major roadway, you are not by law able to put in speed bumps. And so we only have to appeal and beseech, implore the motorists to use it cautiously and responsibly.
Mr. Clark pointed out other roads that will be carrying out work soon.
The roadway which we are now using as the ring road to take most of the traffic off the downtown area, which is the Vernon Drive, Westgate Hills, Vernon's Drive, Norwood into Dr. Horace Chang Avenue going all the way to Anshore, is the road that we are now addressing. And so we are going to ask motorists to be very cautious when they are traversing that roadway, because presently work is ongoing on that road, because we understand the need for that road to take the traffic off. Who is coming from Anshore or who is going towards Anshore, they will use the hillside, which makes it a lot easier for us.
Meanwhile, Deputy Mayor of Montego Bay, Councillor Richard Vernon, explained that the Brandon Hill Road is very important to the flow of traffic in and out of the town of Montego Bay.
We looked at Brandon Hill and decided that this is one of the more important roads that we have to ensure that it is in a state that can facilitate free flow traffic. He went ahead and he lobbied, and we got the money, and today we are here and we are happy that the work is done. Now this road is very important, and as you would have noticed, there are a number of roads being fixed from Ironshore all the way into the town center. These roads will serve as bypass roads, right? So you can take it through Norwood, Vernon's Drive, and if you want to get right directly into the town center, you can come down the Brandon Hill section here. This road is also important because it carries a number of persons from the suburban areas, like the Roseites and the Farmites areas, down into the town center. And when a road is in good condition, you know that it increases production. Very important infrastructure. So today we are happy, and I must say that from the municipal corporation's perspective, we have to look at the different sections where the schools are, because there are a number of school zones along the stretch, and put in the relevant signs, and to see how best we can work together to put in the necessary safety features to ensure that we don't have any accidents.
Some taxi operators that traverse the route expressed their joy and requested that it be maintained.
Feel good, man, you see me? Yeah, man, right, look. You see how we are, man. You see me? I beside right now. Well, nice, you see me? You also run from Farmer, go Roadside.
If this can maintain, we will be able to we change less parts. Parts and only code so often. If you can maintain, they have to maintain it. You understand? Right. Yeah man, a good thing them do. But as me say, they have to maintain it. When one whole pop up or something pop up, then if you fix it and make it stay until the whole road mash up.
The new state-of-the-art transitional center for the homeless in downtown Kingston, named in honor of former council and mayor of Kingston, Minister of Local Government, the Honorable Desmond McKenzie, officially opened on the weekend. Minister McKenzie, in his remarks, explained that the transitional center for the homeless is a symbol of hope and transformation.
I am extremely honored to be here participating in this event. Not so much the naming of the facility, but participating against the backdrop to see faces that actually started this journey back with me decades ago. In my first year as Mayor of Kingston, I decided to change the manner in which the mayor's feeding program was done. It was held at Kingston Technical High School, and it was persons who was in the area that benefited most from the project. I decided that it was not just downtown Kingston that needed that support. So we expanded, we took it into rural parts of the corporate area, and then we recognized that there is a set of persons that would not normally turn up at these facilities.
He also explained the conceptualization of the project.
When I was made the Minister of Local Government, in my first sectorial presentation, I committed to continue this project. We had a little setback, but finally we are at a crossroads. I never had to grant any approval for any development to get funding to construct this facility. And this facility was done out of resources out of the Ministry of Local Government. We placed within the budget, and I want to thank the Permanent Secretary and Ms. Lewis and Mrs. McFarlane, because when we crafted the budget, in the budget, the Ministry of Finance responded and provided the funds for the construction of this facility. Prime Minister, this is a game changer, because nowhere in Jamaica is a facility like this. This is the first of its kind in Jamaica, and we have done it to benefit those who are in need.
For his part, Mayor of Kingston, Councillor Delroy Williams, said that Minister McKenzie is a champion and leader in the cause for assisting the homeless population.
Right now, we feed approximately 800 homeless persons twice per day. And Minister is never giving up. Minister is always looking for opportunity to increase the number of meals that we can offer per day. And I know that because of the constant conversation taking place around that issue and the issue of budgeting and ensuring that we begin to prepare to find the funding to treat with it. So I would say Minister Mackenzie is, in the municipality and across the country, a champion, a leader in the cause for homeless persons. This structure that we are seeing here today is, I would say, his brainchild. I would say that, and say that with confidence. That Minister has led on this project, and that the municipality, the KSAMC, has found itself a worthy partner in this project. And in that collaboration and partnership, you are seeing the fruits of that partnership in what the Most Honorable Prime Minister will open today, this homeless facility. All of what we do, we can only do because it has the support of the Most Honorable Prime Minister and the Cabinet. All of what we do. The funding, which is very important, is that we would not have the funding to do these major projects if the Cabinet did not believe that these projects were worthy. And so, right to the heart of government is where the project originated. And we're seeing the fruits of it now.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness, in his remarks, said that this center will offer a wide range of services to the homeless.
Traditionally, homeless facilities in Jamaica provide temporary relief to persons who are vulnerable due to circumstances brought on by poverty, mental or psychological disabilities or illnesses, physical displacement, abuse, and substance dependency. In this regard, there is very limited specialized care beyond the provision of shelter, food, basic hygiene support, and minor medical treatments or referrals. This facility will offer specific services that are more broad-ranged than that which is offered at other care facilities, such as the drop-in centers and the infirmaries. In this sense, users will not only have access to regular services, such as shower facilities, bedding, change of clothes, and meals, but will be provided with other critical services, such as psychiatric care, counseling, rehabilitation, occupational therapy, social reintegration, and full medical treatment, which seeks to address a more transformative and holistic form of care deemed more sustainable and beneficial. The facility will operate on a 24-hour basis, and staff will be rotated on an approved system under the guidance of the KSAMC Poor Relief Department.
A multi-purpose suite has been established at Jamaica's globally renowned iconic heritage landmark Devon House in honor of late former Prime Minister Edward Seaga. The repurposed structure, originally a gazebo, was renovated at a cost of $15.2 million by the Tourism Development Company, TPDCO, with funds from the Tourism Enhancement Fund, the TEF, and will host meetings and other special events. The facility was formally opened by Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett, Mr. Seaga's widow, Carla Seaga, and daughter Gabrielle during a ceremony on the weekend.
You know, no matter what the frenzies and hustle and bustles on the streets of this eastern and northern borders of Kingston, one experience is right here, a feeling of serenity, just strolling around the grounds of this gem, which is in the heart of the city. You know, so often I think of Devon House as part of the lungs of the city. We can breathe here. The air is nice and fresh. The surrounding is lush and green. And even though we punctuate it with physical structures of man's ingenuity, it blends so well with nature. So Devon House is a beautiful place. It's a representation of the garden of Kingston that has all the facilities for human interaction. So without question, Devon House is one of Jamaica's most iconic landmarks and has distinguished itself as a celebrated attraction. Many have become acquainted with the tales of envy and racial prejudice that comes with the history of Devon House. And we shouldn't shy away from it. It's a history, and we should record it with a certain degree of pride and to make the point of how we have grown and how we have overcome those obstacles of the past.
The occasion was also used to relaunch Devon Duppy Jamaican Rum, a product of Devon House, which Mr. Siaga was instrumental in creating, along with the establishment's renowned Devon House ice cream, among other products. Minister Bartlett, in his remarks, noted that Mr. Siaga's attraction to and role in preserving and developing Devon House was born out of his more than organic relationship with development.
So looking at all of these things, we created out of it this grand gala now. That was this great moment of crescendo, as it were, when all these cultural elements are going to converge and create a spectacle that is pleasing to the eye and satisfying to the soul as it is aesthetic. And so that was Siaga's dream image. That's the vision of the man who today we venerate and celebrate, because this structure, as Dr. Wallace correctly said to you, was preserved, enhanced, and made into a showpiece that all of us can be proud of. But all of these persons have added that value, and the tourism ministry has taken it and has become the guardian, become the custodian of this great piece of heritage. And the TAF has done yeoman's work in funding the development of it, the preservation and restoration in a lot of areas. And today, we are creating added value. And this added value is now being called the most honorable Edward Siaga Suite. And this suite is going to be, you know, a repository of love and warmth. And you can feel the generosity of the man as you stroll through the precincts of it. And I must say that I'm excited about how we are going to manage that whole process of creating this special piece of attraction and the Devon Duppy.
Minister Bartlett pointed out that as a social anthropologist, Mr. Siaga spent his time exploring and understanding the origins of people, civilizations, and societies among accompanying structures and organizations of society. The tourism minister said Edward Siaga also spent much time exploring what went into creating the cuisine for and by which Jamaica is so well defined, hence the creation of Devon Duppy Rum.
So, to tie the myth of Duppy, or the mystique of Duppy, with the mystique of Devon House is so appropriate. So today we are doing a physical manifestation of that thinking that Siaga had, of now tying this wonderful suite in his honor with a drink that he was so instrumental in enabling us to have, unnamed Devon Duppy. So I was hoping that I would have had a taste before I came here. It might have helped in the brevity of my presentation. But it I think is another added, not just attraction now, but an economic.
In her remarks, Mrs. Siaga said she and her daughter were humbled to have participated in the commemorative ceremony.
I believe my late husband would have been very pleased to know that he left his footprint on this piece of Jamaica's cultural landscape, a place that was so very special to him. This will live on as a legacy, not only for all who come here, but for his family members for generations to come. Before coming here today, I was reflecting on Devon House and realized that many people often associate this property with ice cream. I think of Devon House in a very different way. Not just in terms of ice cream, but as a place where there has been a fulfillment of so many dreams. So for me, Minister Bartlett, this is a house of dreams, because so many of them have been realized here.
And those are the stories making the news. I'm Nicole Hales. Pleasant viewing.